Hello, today we talk about The Little Prince. The history shows that people do find the truth by seeking it with their heart and minds rather than just paying attention to what they can see on the surface. The little prince leaves his planet because his relationship with Rose is difficult. He cares for his flower, but the rose very often gives him a bad conscience. He has the passion love for the rose, but it didn't end in a happy ever after. However, they still showed the greatness of love with each other, which is very interesting. The relationship of the fox and the little prince is unique and sincere from of friendship. When the fox asked the little prince to tame him, the little prince asked what he means by that. The fox answered him that they will come to something and will need each other. Though for the little prince he is just a fox like other fox. After the fox is tamed, the prince and the fox became unique for each other. The relationship of the pilot and the little prince deals with miniature of people. They have a conversation about grown-ups where the pilot expressed his plane about the elders. They were somewhat estranged to each other, but in the end they became friendship and discussed about realities of life such as those drawing of a ship in the box. In real life, it is about controlling people in such a manner that you tie them for you to control over. Even though the snake the little prince encountered in the desert speaks a riot, he meant less interpretation than the other symbolic figure in the novel. The snake also has a less to learn that many of the other characters. The grown-ups on the various planets are too narrow-minded for their own good, and the prince and the narrow edge closer to enlightenment. But the serpent does not require answer or even ask question. In fact, the snake is too confident he has mastered life mysteries that he tells the princess he speaks only the riddles because he can solve a riddles. In a history about mystery, the snake is the only of solid. His poison bite and biblical allusions indicate that he represents the unavoidable phenomenon of death. We learn that the little prince lived on an asteroid named B612, which is as big as a house. On it, there are three tiny volcanoes that come up to his nest to are active, and he used them to warm his breakfast. One of extinct, and he used it as a footstool, and most importantly, Ocean Planet is a flower that he loves. On the first planet that the little prince visited, he encountered a king who claims to rule the entire universe. While not unkind, the king's power is empty. He is able to command people to do only what they really would do. The sole resident of the second planet the little prince visits, the vain man is lonely and craves admiration from all who pass by. However, only by being alone is he sure of being the richest and the best looking man on his planet. The third person the little prince recounts after leaves home as a drunkard who spends his day on rides, lost, and a stupor. The drunkard is a sad figure that he is also foolish because he drinks to forget that he is a mage of drinking. A creature of grown-ups who is the first person the little prince visits to busy even the great his visitor to businessmen owns or start. Yet he cannot remember what they are called and contrives nothing to them, although the little prince's comments on the audit of the grown-ups he meets. The businessman is the only character the prince Archibald chastises. The fifth of the most complex figure the princess incurred before landing on earth in the Lamprey. At first, the Lamprey appears to be yet another ridiculous character with no real purpose, but his selfish devotion to his order earns him to the little prince's admiration. Of all arrows to little princess and count before reaching her, the lamprey is the only one which he thinks could be his friend. The sixth and the final character the little prince encounters before the lands on earth is the geographic. Although the geographic is apparently well read, he refers to learn about his own planet, saying it is a job for explorers. He recommends that the little prince visit Earth, and his comments on the ill-formed nature of flower reveal to the prince that his own flower will not last forever. The history of the little prince shows that people do find the truth by seeking it with their hearts and minds, rather than just paying attention to what they can see on the surface. The little prince is full of sad things and about innocence. Sure, there's joy too, and friendship and love and understand, but all that is touched by sadness, especially once we get to the end of the book. Every time the characters come closer to understand, they come closer to lose. Usually, it's not until the characters say goodbye or part they that they realize their love for one another. The flower doesn't tell the prince she loves him until they say goodbye. Similarly, even though the fox wanted to be tamed, he didn't know the full pleasure pain of it until the prince left him. And the narrator is the exception. By the time the narrator writes down his story, it's been 6 years since the princess left him behind. Although he can hear his friends laughter in the start, that's not the same of hearing in person. And that's all. Thank you.